Try Again Workshop. I'm Steve. In this first episode, we're going to start off with taking a old pearl drum set that I had picked up on Craigslist down in Oregon. It's actually like a 6-piece pearl kit, maple shells from back in the 80s. So I've always wanted to have a bigger kit. I usually play a 4-piece kit. Always wanted a bigger kit. I love pearl drums. I always wanted maple shells. So this is going to bring it all together. But I don't like the blue color and the wrap's all coming apart. So I thought I would take this opportunity to kind of refinish the whole thing. I also want to basically stain these shells, and I'm going to stain them a black wood color. But before I jump into the actually working on the pearl maple shells, and I don't want to destroy them, I'm going to do a test run on this old junky set. And I know the species of wood is going to be different and all that, but I want to try out some different stain types, see what I like the best, see what works, work on a couple of different things before I actually jump in and do the whole pearl kit. So we'll take this drum apart. Again, we're going to first episode here, we'll look at some stain options, see what we like best. I'm probably going to paint the hardware as well, because I want basically what I'm shooting for is a flat black drum set where you can see a little bit of the wood. I don't want it super shiny. I know it's really hard to get it shiny anyway, so I'm going to go with more of a matte finish on it, see how that looks. But we're going to test it on this set first. So let's go ahead and get started. So what you need to get started, I'm going to use this power drill, kind of start taking this drum apart. It's going to be boring to watch. I'll fast forward through it. But we'll take this whole drum apart, and then we'll work on taking the wrap. I've got this heat gun. I don't know what I'm in store for with this wrap. I've seen and worked on a bunch of drums where the whole thing is glued, or maybe just the seam is glued. I'm hoping this is because it's a cheap enough drum that only the seam is glued, so I don't have to mess around with a bunch of glue. So again, I'm going to use an impact gun here with like basically something that works on these tension rods. It'll make it a lot easier to take apart. Okay, now we got the hoops off. I need to get a Phillips attachment and work on these, taking off these lugs. Wow. So I'm laughing because you can tell I got this drum in Seattle. I don't know if it's on all of them. Maybe it's on all of them. There is jammed in the lugs. It looks like a piece of flannel shirt. I'll get a close up of it in a second, but I don't know that these would have come stock like this. But it looks like parts of a. So here, as what I was talking about, here you can see there's some T-shirt or something shoved in the lug. Keep it from rattling. Keep the spring in there. Keep it from rattling. But kind of interesting. Yeah, these are definitely pieces of T-shirt. And they look like they're all different. This is purple. This is flannel. So, anyways, we'll check it out. So, who knows what's under this wrap? Maybe this is something different. Now, before I do anything else, I am going to put everything in a bag. I probably won't need it again for a while. Got these cheap bags from Walgreens, because what I'm going to do is I'll put them all in a bag and then I'll label them so that 6 years from now, if I get around to finishing this project, which typically happens, I'll be like, oh, there's the hardware right there. So there is our drum. All right, I almost forgot this bugger here, right? The whatever, the blowhole, the air vent hole gasket thing. These are a pain in the ass to get out, and then they never go back in. So you basically have to destroy them to get them out. All right, I was able to get that out it actually worked really well with these, as I was mentioning, with these flush cut cutters here. I was able, once I got it here, I wish I would have taped it because it happened really fast. I could actually get it, because it's flat and flush, I could get it under the sides, so I just pinched it in and then was able to pry it up. So I didn't do too much damage to the shell. So now what we're going to do next, and I'm using a not permanent solution for holding these drums. It's a large cardboard tube that came from a track lighting that I just happened to save. So I'm going to use it for now, but I'm going to set up something more permanent. But the next step here is I want to kind of see how that glue is on there. And I actually want to turn it the other way. We're going to start with the heat gun and see how this goes. You don't want to burn the glue. I've had that happen before, and then you're signing yourself up for disaster. So I'm going to start with the heat gun. I've got this old, I got an Ace Hardware. Just got two settings. I can't remember what they are. They're like, it's low and high, but it's like, I don't know, 1,500 degrees, 3,000, I don't know, I don't remember what it is. But anyways. All right, so we're going to try a couple quick passes. I don't want to do too much. It's better to start slow and then go faster. Let's start on low. All right, seems to be working. I'm just going to hit it, keep doing it slow. Hopefully you can see how it looks like it might be, yeah, right on the seam. It's usually never that easy. So I'm just gonna hit it with a little more heat and then we will have the wrap off. Never that easy. But that's because this is a cheap kit. So they cut all the corners that they can. Yeah. But that's the only real spot. Ooh. This shell has some water damage on it. You can see. I think that's water damage. So the shell, or the wrap came off all in one piece. I can't tell if this was maybe a rewrap that somebody did, or if this was the original. I don't even know what manufacturer these are. There was no label on them, so that's my guess. Is it has already been rewrapped, and when they took it apart, they did that thing with the lugs and put the T-shirts in them and everything. So who knows? If anybody has any ideas, let me know. But this is going to get thrown away. And you can see me look at the shell here. You can see we got some glue to get off here. But this will be great as a little guinea pig, but it's, I wasn't expecting to see water damage on this. So I'm going to have to pick a couple areas to stain where, probably over here. Again, we just want to test out the stain, so this stuff doesn't matter. All right, so I'm going to try a little goof off on here. You're supposed to use it on finished wood, but again, this is a trial thing because I'm guessing I'm going to encounter glue on the pearl set. So I'm going to try to see how it works, see if there's a good way to get this glue off. All right, I'm gonna let that set for a minute and then try to get the glue off. All right, I'm gonna hit it again. Let it sit. Yep, now you can see I'm starting to scratch the shell, so let it be for now. Let that dry out, and then see. We'll come back in a little bit, see what happens. I'll have to buff that out a little bit. All right, so we let the goof off stuff. This stuff here. We let this kind of sit there. I tried rubbing it off. You can kind of get it with your fingers. You know, it kind of bunches up. It's still some adhesive on there. Unfortunately, the adhesive and then putting some of that goof off stuff on here kind of discolored it a little bit. So I'm going to move to a sanding block. It seems like that's kind of the best way to get it. There's not a ton of glue on here. Again, it was just on this seam. So I'm going to go ahead and try the sanding block here. I'm not sure the grit. Pretty coarse, probably 80 grit, maybe even 60. I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work with this, I'll move on to the sander. I think I made it worse. Still see it on there. All right. All right, I'm going to try the sander next. All right, I'm going to move on to 60 grit on my wireless orbital sander. I have one of those little mouse sanders, but I don't want to get it out, and I got a cord problem going on here. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to turn it down, I think. So you can see I'm taking off a lot of material there. So let's get a tack cloth, brush this off a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm taking too much. This is all kind of rough now. But kind of, I think we're going to go with, maybe I'll go to 120, see what happens. Ooh. So, yeah, too much. You can see where I went right through that veneer, that layer, and now I'm getting to some different wood underneath. So, too much. You can see, I don't know if you can see it, but I actually flattened it out there. So, should have been more patient. Should have just done it by hand. So, we're gonna move on. Luckily. Again, this is just a test drum. I do want to sand this a little bit. Maybe I'll try just a little light sanding, not with 60 grit. Just, again, remove too much material. So I'm just going to take this off. I just want a clean surface, and I could probably get to it like right here. Just where I want to get it big enough to try the different stains. And I want to get put the lugs back on and see what it looks like. So I'll probably put tape and try it in a few spots. So I'm going to go 220 and just see if I can take off this without grinding the finish down. Actually, let's switch this a little bit. You also notice I changed up my thing here. I got a steel pipe with a floor flange mounted right to the workbench here. Makes it really nice. Wish it was a little taller. I'm having to bend over, my back a little bit, but all right, that's good. That's good. Let's go start here. So, did it again. Not sure if that's just kind of where it's like a thinner part of the wood, or I just was trying to get that glue off and that where it was a little bit darker. You can see it took most of those water stains off. I'm going to keep going through this, and with the 220 it's making it perfect. I'm just going to get some of these rough edges here, go around and do it, and then it'll be ready for some stain. All right, so went around. Should have done 200 grit from the beginning. You'll see I got most of the water spots off. Got it nice and smooth. I'm just wiping it off in the tack cloth. And again, you can see I just went too much there trying to get the glue off, and it's going to be. I'm not going to stain that part. Well, I might stain it to see what happens, because again, this is just a test drum. I tried to stay away from the bearing edges, just because I don't want to mess them up. Even though it's a cheap drum, someone might want to play it someday, so I don't want to jack it up totally. Trying to keep this all cosmetic. So, okay, quick recap. Using the sacrificial kit, got all the hardware off, including the pesky grommet, using the flush cut pliers. Had a little bit of trouble dealing with the glue. Should have been easy. Thought it would have come up, but a lot of adhesive left over. Using the sandpaper, using a sanding block, super coarse, took off too much material, kind of damaged the drum, went through the veneer. So the key there is just be patient. Use somewhere in the middle. I ended up using like a 220, just going slow, using the orbital sander, and that worked out great. So next we're gonna tape off the drum in a couple different sections and apply some stain. So watch part 2. Thanks.